All right, we've got this video here from CBS News. This is what comes next in Venezuela. This is a question a lot of people have been asking themselves because Donald Trump has said we're taking over Venezuela, but there's been not a lot of proof that this is actually what is going to happen. So CBS News dives into this. It'll be interesting to see what they have to say.
To get into the military reaction to this operation, we're now turning to CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson. Ellie, when it comes to this operation, are there still any American troops in Venezuela right now or the surrounding region?
Well, as far as we know, this was an extraction raid that sent Delta Force commandos into Venezuela and back out without leaving any behind. But that raid was made possible because the U.S. does have about 15,000 U.S. troops that have been built up in and around the Caribbean for several months now. General Dan Kane yesterday at the press conference in Mar-a-Lago, he's the top U.S. military officer, said about 150 aircraft launched from 20 different bases supported that raid overnight, and the military was ready for a second one if necessary. President Trump has said that presence, the armada of Navy ships, about a dozen now in the Caribbean Sea, and troops on bases in places like Puerto Rico will remain for the foreseeable future. And he said he would not be scared to put boots on the ground inside Venezuela if necessary.
And Ellie, last night.
So I mean, I've been a little bit behind because this story's been moving so quickly that I have been able to keep track of every single movement in real time. But it's interesting that he said that he will send boots on the ground. That's something that I haven't heard yet.
On the CBS Evening News, we had Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, that is Pete Hegseth, on the program. And in that conversation, he sort of kept the door open for a long-term U.S. military involvement in Venezuela, despite notably this being something that President Trump had campaigned against. So what are you hearing from sources inside the military today about how troops feel about the scope of this operation potentially being much broader than initially thought?
Well, the Trump administration cabinet in general has left this option open without really giving an end goal, which I think not only the military, but also the American people would like to hear. As you mentioned,
I mean, the end goal has quite explicitly from the United States been that the duly elected resistance leader, I forget what the person's name is, who was alleged, by all accounts, I'm not going to pretend that I know this for sure because I haven't been following Venezuelan politics very closely, but there was no resistance leader who was, by all accounts, according to the Western world, duly elected in 2024. Trump has very clearly stated that, his demands are, first of all, that America has some control and access over not only Venezuelan oils, but also the refineries, and that resistance leader be the new head of state. Two very clear, and now maybe this video is old, but these are two very clear objectives that Donald Trump has mentioned. I don't know how you missed this unless it's on purpose, especially as a reporter.
the president has campaigned in the past on no more forever wars, criticizing the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that sought to nation build over several years. The most successful missions the president has touted and that the military has touted in the past while he's been in office have been essentially one and done operations. If you think of like Operation Midnight Hammer back in the summer that targeted Iran's nuclear facilities, it was in and out, very successful. Back in his first term, the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, again, one and done. This capture of Maduro in itself is one and done. Maduro's now in New York, where he'll face charges, but the president has committed to what comes after by pledging in some way to run Venezuela for a period of time. And I think there are several questions left unanswered about what that means for the military going forward.
Ellie, we have a couple of seconds left, but I do want to ask about how this project was greenlit. We know members of Congress, as Natalie had mentioned previously, were not informed about this military operation before it happened. What kind of precedent do you think this sets?
Secretary Rubio in his press conference tried to justify this by saying it at its heart was a law enforcement operation, although we saw significant military support. I think that justification that the mission was a success, no Americans killed, several wounded, but no killed, may embolden the administration going forward to use the military without necessarily notifying Congress ahead of time.
Okay, Eleanor Watson, thank you.
To be fair, that's something that's been happening for like ever, right? when I say that, this is a violation of the Constitution, articles of impeachment should be brought up, et cetera, it's not because this is unique or special. It's because this is something that, is just unconstitutional, right? Previous presidents have done similar things, and it was equally unconstitutional back then when it was done. I don't think that we should be treating Trump any special or unique way. We should just be consistent. If we say we like the Constitution, then we should, defend the Constitution. And when someone does something against the Constitution, then that person should be punished. That's just how it should be.